Hey, what is up guys, I'm KBHD here, coming at you in the midst of final exams with a bit of an exclusive. So, I've been messing with the OnePlus One lately, which you probably already knew if you follow me on Twitter, and I've been getting non-stop questions about it naturally, which helps a lot with the review process, so keep the questions coming. This isn't really a full review video, that's coming later, and believe me, I have a lot to say about this phone. But since I've gotten to know the phone over the past couple of days, I figured some things are worth sharing, as this is a pretty interesting phone, and for all intents and purposes, it's a Cyanogenmod phone. So here are 5 awesome features that I found so far from the exclusive Cyanogenmod 11S on the OnePlus One. Alright, so the first cool thing I want to show you guys is the camera app of the OnePlus One. That would be the #1 feature. So obviously you can just tap that icon at any time if you want to get into it, or since this is Android 4.4, you can just swipe in from the right at any time and that'll bring up the camera app. And you notice the user interface looks really familiar, really similar to the Google camera, except with its own Cyanogenmod special improvements. So first of all, the settings are really easy to access. You just tap that settings button and you can immediately choose the quality of the photos, the size. I went with 13 megapixels, which is the max, and a couple of other things about exposure and touch to focus that you can just swipe right over into your video settings. And there you can choose between 1080p or 720p or 4K video, time-lapse video, and then one more will get you to some general settings where you can set the power button as a shutter. But other than that, yeah, it's a pretty simple, quick camera app, and I've enjoyed using it. Taking panoramas is really easy, starting to record a video is really easy, and the shutter is pretty fast. Wherever you tap, it's tap to focus. And then whenever you want to switch between different scene modes, instead of picking them manually, you can literally just swipe between them. So swiping down will move you between the different effects that you can apply to your image, and you get that live preview, so you don't have to guess what it'll look like. Obviously, you just keep swiping until you find something you like, use that mode, and take the shot. And there are a lot of them, but if you just want to get a clean, quick shot, just go into auto, and that should be pretty easy too. Alright, so this next one actually blew my mind with how easy and simple it is, because it's never really been this easy on Android devices before. There's actually a Screencast app built into the OnePlus One and the Cyanogenmod ROM. So usually you'd have to root your Android device or go through some crazy convoluted steps to get a halfway decent screencast. But now you can just start the app and literally hit the start screencast button, and now it's recording. And you can record the exact actions you take on your phone. A lot of you guys don't know, but I actually started this YouTube channel with nothing but screencasts. And it's really cool to see this on Android. Now I can literally go through and do app demos and different site demos and mobile stuff, and it'll record the way I touch the display and exactly what happens on the screen, whatever I do. So this is really useful, and it's actually a pretty decent frame rate too, so I can go through some pretty nifty stuff. I might even try gaming on it later, some more stuff in the full review, but this is definitely useful and I'm glad to see it. Whenever I want to stop the recording, I can just go up to the notification bar and hit stop, and it's immediately ready to share, so I can just upload that to Dropbox real quick and add it into the video and show you guys what it looks like. Alright, so the third awesome thing I found is another thing that used to require being rooted to do, and that is the theme engine built into this OS. So if you go into the app drawer, you'll see this theme showcase, and this will bring you to a list of basically a store of a bunch of different themes that you can apply. Now the thing is, you can have more than one theme installed and use different themes to affect different parts of your OS. So you can have one theme that affects your wallpapers, and one theme for your fonts, and one theme for your boot animations and your sound packs, and all different types of things here. And of course, when I hit this menu button here, you'll have the 2 installed themes that come with the phone. So I'm going to go ahead and actually switch here from the Hollow default theme. You can see here I have a whole bunch of googly looking icons that are very familiar. So I'm going to go ahead and switch just the icons from the Great Freedom Pack. You can see what's included in the pack when you download it. So I'm going to pick the icons and apply the theme, and that looked pretty quick. So now when I hit home, I have a new set of icons on my home screen, and I didn't have to use an app or anything special to do that. All the apps that are built into the icon pack are affected. Not everyone is included in this particular icon pack, but if you find one in the store that you really like, you can apply it and use its icons, or like I said, its boot animation or whatever you want. I'm going to switch back to Hollow. Again, that was pretty quick, and I'm right back to the Hollow icons. Pretty snazzy. So the next awesome thing that I've made a kind of a big deal about, but that not a lot of people were noticing, is that you can change between on-screen and off-screen buttons on this phone. And a lot of people, when considering the perfect phone, like to decide that they don't like on-screen buttons because it takes up precious screen real estate. So you can switch those on and off by going into the settings and hitting the buttons setting, and you can choose to check or uncheck the on-screen buttons. So when you turn those off, you have now the menu, home, and back button, and you can double tap the home button to turn the screen off and bring up other sort of quick actions, and you can always now use these to navigate. But if you're like me and you're used to a Nexus or you're coming from a Google Play Edition device, you can enable the on-screen nav bar. And what's even neater here is I'm used to these rooted features where you can go into the interface and go out and scroll for buttons and layout, and you can now choose to add or subtract buttons from the software buttons here. So I'm going to go ahead and add a permanent search button and lock that down. And now I have a permanent search button here in my software buttons at the bottom of the phone. So that's extremely useful if you want to add a permanent menu button there or a permanent search button like I just did. Again, if you don't like that, you can at any time go back in to the interface and change it to look really, really similar to a Nexus just by unlocking it and I guess removing it or swiping it around, and that's what you have. You have the ability to change all these crazy things that you really only got when you were rooted or using a device that you rooted yourself. And the last but certainly not least awesome feature is what I like to call just the little things that Cyanogenmod has built in to this that you may or may not enjoy or appreciate, but that they've done and will help if you're used to using a rooted phone or something that's had Cyanogenmod on it before. Here's an example of the quick settings that you can swipe down with 2 fingers. You have that plus button up here, and that lets you choose what buttons you have in the quick settings. So if I want to be able to sleep the phone at any time with just a single tap of a button, I just add it to the quick settings. And there it is. Sleeps the phone at any time. So quick and easy stuff like that. Another one is the transparent volume slider. A lot of people don't appreciate, but in stock Android, if you change the volume with the volume button here, that would have an overlay over whatever you're working on. So if I'm gaming and I want to turn down the volume real quick, I don't have anything in the way of whatever I was just working on. Of course, if I touch it with my finger, it becomes opaque, but when I'm just using the volume keys, it doesn't really interrupt. I can still see the time behind it, so that's neat. Little lock screen customizations, little status bar improvements. You see the circle battery indicator up here. A whole bunch of awesome stuff, and I'm a fan of it so far. So, like I said, this is just a quick video in the midst of finals week. I wanted to share with you guys some neat features of the OnePlus One. A lot of people have been asking me about this phone, and I have a lot more to say about it, so expect probably a couple more videos about this phone in the coming weeks. But that's been it so far. So thanks for watching. Feel free to give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it or want to see more like it, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.